excited to be with you today. Kayla joined me from our office, and we are excited to have the privilege to be in the Wiregrass today. We had an opportunity to attend the 9/11 ceremony earlier at the park, and then to come over and to talk for a few minutes about what we're dealing with here in this community. First of all, let me say that it's disappointing whenever we see things that have happened like have occurred here in Houston County for a couple of reasons. Number one is because it causes people to lose confidence in the elections process. Number two, when I see Houston County and Dothan in particular, it makes me proud because I think that Dothan is one of the most outstanding cities in the state of Alabama. It's been my experience through campaigning in all 67 counties, and I visited all 67 at least twice. I put 181,351 miles on my car and 4 sets of tires. And I came down here several times and visited with elected officials, visited with local party officials, visited with community members, spoke to civic clubs, visited with as many people as I could. And one of the things that impressed me so much about this area is how much growth has occurred and what a commitment to advancing the community and this part of the state has been made by your elected leadership, by your community leadership, by your religious leadership, and by your general community as a whole. I think there are more parts of our state that can take note as to what you're doing here and to try to advance what they're doing in their communities the same way. But the reason that I came today is because of what has been experienced by this community recently in regard to election fraud, in regard to violations of the confidence and the integrity of the process that have been experienced by people in this community. And I made a promise when I was running for Secretary of State to the people of Alabama that given the opportunity to serve as your 53rd Secretary of State, one of the commitments that I was going to make is when it comes to the elections process, that includes from inception, which is registration, through execution of the vote, to holding office, to donating to candidates, filing fair campaign practice forms, whatever it happens to be, when that trust and confidence has been violated by anybody, white, black, polka dot, Democrat, Republican, municipal election, county, school board, county commission, state legislature, no matter where it is, when that trust and confidence has been violated, we're going to identify the perpetrators. We're going to make sure that they've been investigated. When it's warranted, we're going to make sure they're indicted and that they're prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, period. I don't care who you are. I don't care how long you've been in office. I don't care who you kin to. It does not matter. We're going to make sure that everybody's treated the same because if we don't do that, people lose confidence in the process and they quit participating. And when they quit participating, you end up with people who don't need to be in elective office. Does everybody understand? Yes, sir. So the reason that I came here today is to make sure that you know that we started observing this even before I became the Secretary of State. It was one of the things that we noted during the campaign process because of some of the allegations that were made in the Dothan Eagle that I read when I was campaigning down here. Following what occurred, then we have fully participated in the process with your prosecutors to ensure that when the trial came, that our part was done. We worked with Carla Woodall. We worked with the district attorney's office. We worked with everybody we needed to work with. Now, one of the things I want to make sure that you fully understand is that this group of commissioners and the mayor's office have been very supportive of what we've tried to do. When we've asked for their assistance, they provided it. When they are not certain what else they can do, they offer. They want to make sure that we have everything we need to do what we're trying to do to help restore the integrity of the process in this community. What we have had conversations about as recently as this morning is making sure that people know that they just want what's right and best for Dothan, period. That's all they want. It doesn't matter who's involved. They want to make sure that no one thinks that this is about a single individual, because it's not. Now, I'm going to tell you this. That doesn't mean that a single individual might not be identified. And it doesn't mean that a single individual might not be indicted. And it doesn't mean that a single individual might not be removed. But what it does mean is whenever there's a situation that involves a violation of the trust and confidence, we're going to pursue it as far as we can. Now, we've already had 3 convictions. One as recently as the last 2 weeks. We've got another one that is underway. And we're going to continue to do what we have to do till we get to the bottom of this situation. It doesn't matter how long it takes. When we discover something, we're going to continue to pursue it. Now, I think it's important for you to know that I feel that this is a great opportunity for us to take these instances to the legislature. And in the 2016 general session, we're going to take some suggestions to them about things that we've discovered here. The people that have been convicted, when you've been convicted of absentee violations, that's a 3rd-degree felony. And when it is, that means it's 1 to 10. That means in the pokey, okay? That doesn't mean that's what's suggested. That means that's what's prescribed. But I'm not so sure that civil penalties should not also be involved where people need to pay. I'm talking about cash. And I'm talking about if you can't pay, then you need to find another way to make that restitution possible for your community. Because you've actually done more than just cheated somebody. You cheated a community. And when you cheat a community, you put yourself in a spot where people lose confidence. And I've already told you, I'm going to do everything I can to prevent that from happening. Period. Matter of fact, Pastor Glasgow is on the task force that we assigned at the end of the 2015 regular session that will talk about restitution and restoration of voting rights for convicted felons. People who've already been there, who've served their time, who've done their time. But what we're talking about today is advancing to the point where some people may need to be serving some time, or they need to be paying some fines, or they may need to be addressing the situation that has been introduced. Now, I've said a lot. I may have opened up some new questions for you, but I want you to know that we came down here today primarily to visit with y'all. We were honored to be able to participate in the 9/11 program, but we came here for y'all. So I'm going to be here till the last one's got their question answered. And if you want to start right now, we'll start, and we'll let the media go first because I know you're on deadline, and we want to make sure that you get what you need before we go. So,
are you expecting any criminal investigation by your office?
Well, let me say this. Anything that's introduced to us that's new or in addition to what we've already seen, we're going to continue to investigate. As a matter of fact, when the last conviction was announced just a few days ago, I got a call from the Attorney General on my cell phone because I was in Kentucky when that occurred. Because Ed Packard, who's Director of Elections for the Secretary of State's office, actually came down here and was a witness in a couple of instances that led to conviction. And General Strange said, I just want you to know this, John. Anything you need from our office, our resources are available for you for whatever you need. And I'm going to tell you this. As the state's chief law enforcement official and chief prosecutor, when he makes that statement, you need to know that I'm going to take advantage of that.
Is there any process for removal that could be played out before the actual term of office ends?